really important for you two to be careful.
I never thought about that.
Well, now's the time to start thinking about it.
Now's the time to talk to your kids about substance use. Learn more at rosecrans.org.
News Talk 1490 WERE, Cleveland Heights, WZAK HD3, Cleveland. This is a paid program brought to you by Al Jones. The views and opinions expressed are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of this station or its management.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back to In the Ring with your man, Al Jones. That's right. And man, oh man, it's going down today once again, ladies and gentlemen. We bringing it to you despite everything that's going on in 2020. It's been a great year in boxing. This last quarter has been one of the strongest ever. But listen, we're going to go on a short commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. This is In the Ring with Al Jones, 216-578-1490. We'll be right back.
Wash your hands, avoid sick people, and touching your face. These are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. Brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and News Talk 1490.
Millions estimate their benefits online, so they can do what they want offline. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow. See what you can do online at socialsecurity.gov.
Ron had a tax problem he just couldn't handle on his own.
I owed the IRS taxes for over 5 years.
Ron called in the pros.
I called Optima Tax Relief, and boy, am I happy I did.
The leading tax resolution firm, Optima, is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Ron was overjoyed.
They are a lifesaver. They are.
Call 800-799-0977. 800-799-0977.
Optima Tax Relief.
For details, visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Have you thought about what you would do if you or a loved one had a health emergency? The American Heart Association wants to remind us not to hesitate to get help. Even during a pandemic, our emergency systems are ready to help. Serious symptoms like those associated with a heart attack or stroke are still considered urgent. Learn the signs and symptoms of a heart attack, stroke, or cardiac arrest. If you call 911 at the first sign, it could save a life. Visit heart.org for more information and resources to help you and your family stay safe during this time.
If you're having a crisis or dealing with a dangerous situation, there is someone who can help. Did you know that RTA buses and trains are safe places? Look for the yellow diamond-shaped Safe Place signs on all vehicles and at various RTA locations. If you are in crisis, get to a Safe Place vehicle or location and let the bus or train operator know, and he or she will contact the transit police, whom will immediately get to your location and assist. There is no fee for Safe Place assistance. Log on to riderta.com/Safe Place for more information. This is a WERE public service announcement.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. It's AJ in the ring, baby. AJ in the building. It's going down. And I'm here with my right-hand man from Boxing Sweet Science 2.0, Marshall Brown. How you doing, Marshall?
Man, I'm happy to be here. I'm excited. We had a great weekend of boxing, brother. Great weekend. It was really good. So I'm excited.
Yes, that weekend was great, Marshall. We had it was definitely, it went down, man. So what we're gonna do, Marshall, we're gonna start from the UK and bring it back to the USA. How about that?
Man, I think we should go the other way because the big star, the boxing goes as the heavyweight division goes. But your show,
so that's why we starting off with that's how we starting off with the heavyweights, baby. That's how it's going down. We're gonna break it down from the UK. We gotta start off with them, and I want to give congratulations to Matchroom. They put on a great fight this weekend. We had an opportunity. I don't know. Did you see your boy Fury fight?
Fury, his brother.
Yeah.
His cousin? Yeah, I saw that fight.
Yes.
I saw that fight. He stunk up
yes.
the place.
Yeah. Hey, but he was in the building. it started off with Hugh Fury. He defeated his opponent, Wash, Mirzal Wash, which was cool. It was good to see him, and he kind of looked like him, his cousin in the ring. I mean, it's hard. The expectation is so high when you're related to Fury, any Fury.
Man, they're light years apart, brother. They're light years apart as far as talent, everything goes. I mean, it is what it is. You're not expected to be as talented as your cousin, but it is what it is. It's almost like Odell Beckham and his cousin that nobody knows about. But it is what it is, you know.
Right.
It's the truth. But the fact is, you know, it was an awkward fight. It was a tough fight to watch. But I love boxing, so you endure. Not every fight is going to be exciting. You're not going to get the knockout, but he got the win. So I guess that's all that matters.
Exactly. So I was glad, you know, hey, glad to see everything went on in his benefit. And then moving right along, we went to the big boy. I mean, so is the heavyweight division. I had a great opportunity to see the King Anthony Joshua defeat Cobra Pull-Up in a heavyweight title. I mean, Anthony Joshua just destroyed him with the ninth round, with the knockout in the ninth round. I mean, I was glad. I was very impressed with Anthony Joshua. Impressed with his boxing IQ, how he created distance in the ring, and his power. I mean, he definitely went in there and was very impressive, Marshall, in this past Saturday night in the UK.
Yeah. But before I give my assessment of Anthony Joshua, there was another fight on the other part, which was a cruiserweight division.
Going in and out, Marshall. You're going in and out.
You hear me? There was another fight. There was another fight on the undercard with Lawrence Okolie. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Lawrence
Okolie
in that fight,
though. It sounds a little muffled.
Oh man, I got you. I'm trying to fix this technical difficulty. Yeah, I'm not in the studio with you, man. I wish I was, but technical difficulties. The Lawrence Okolie fight, I was really impressed with him. I mean, he took his opponent on a short notice. So there was two factors going on in that fight. One, they both didn't know each other. They couldn't prepare for each other. So neither one of them knows what they were doing. But on Lawrence Okolie's behalf, he came out and actually boxed. And I don't know if everybody's familiar with him, probably not. But most of his fights, he does win. He stinks up the place in that he doesn't give the fans the kind of performance that they desire because he likes to grab and hold. But he looked like he went in this camp. He made some major adjustments, and he started to work behind the jab. And he used his range and his distance to get the knockout. So I just wanted to touch on that because Lawrence Okolie made some real good adjustments in his training camp. And he probably made some fans in getting the knockout in the lead up to the big fight, which was the Anthony Joshua fight. And to your point, Anthony Joshua looked amazing. There were some critics saying that, you know, he was looking tentative. He didn't look as sharp as he was. He fought scared, this, that, and the third. But I always say, you know, it's really funny how people are very critical of Anthony Joshua, and they say he fought scared. But when Manny Pacquiao got knocked out, he came out and he continued to knock guys out, and they never said he fought scared. I think he fought smart. He used the jab. He didn't have to take the unnecessary risk. He got Kubrat Pulev down twice in that fight. And
correct.
That was in the third round. He knocked him down twice in the third round. And then, you know,
Pulev got in the ninth.
Yeah, but Pulev got into the fight. And then once he got back into the fight, Anthony Joshua systematically broke him down. And you're talking about a guy that's 6'6", who used his jab to go to the smaller guy's body. And that Floyd Mayweather-esque type of jab. You know how you jab to the midsection? He did that a lot and took a lot of wind out of Pulev and then started going upstairs, which was really smart. So, yeah, to your point, he did great in that fight. And he finished it.
Absolutely. And I like the way, I mean, to be a big man, to be 6'4", 6'5", I mean, and be a big man like Anthony Joshua, he looks good on his toes, man. I love his footwork. He looks good on his toes. The way he bounces around. I mean, he puts me, I mean, always, and I've always said this, he puts me in the mind, and just a little, he puts me in the mind of Muhammad Ali, the way he's light on his toes and has his ability to use his range like Ali did. And I was very impressed. I mean, you know, and so was the rest of the boxing world that had the opportunity to see that fight. And so now that's leading up.
You're going to see a lot of people.
That's leading up to 2021 to next year. You know, probably around May, we'll have that opportunity to see to have that opportunity to see the unification bout between Tyson Fury, which is in negotiations now, with Anthony Joshua. You know, I'm looking I'm really looking forward to seeing that bout between the two great champs in the unification of the heavyweight division between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. Negotiations from my resources, negotiations have started. They started actually Monday. Eddie Hearn is in negotiations with Top Rank, which, you know, Matchroom represents Anthony Joshua, and Top Rank is represented by Bob Arum, who represents Tyson Fury. So they're in the contract negotiations now for that fight. But in order to make that happen, there is Usyk that's in the way right now. Usyk holds, I believe he has a mandatory bout in order to face Anthony Joshua. He has that mandatory. Usyk has that mandatory. So hopefully, you know, Usyk may step out the way, or if not, if he doesn't want to, it's still enough time to get rid of him, get rid of Usyk during the early part of the year to prepare for Tyson Fury, Marshall, come June, May or June.
Yeah, but here's the thing: the WBO just came up with this new thing. Well, it wasn't new, but we knew that Usyk was the mandatory for the WBO title, and Usyk already said it in his own way that he wasn't interested in taking any step aside money. He wants his title shot. So, from what my understanding is this: Eddie just released a statement saying that they're trying to make the Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua fight in May. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Usyk is probably going to be the person that's going to try to stop the fight, because two things. There's a lot of variables in that, and everybody's so excited and saying that they want the fight. Yeah, we want the fight, but there's so many things that can happen. For example, Anthony Joshua has the mandatory, which is Usyk. Usyk doesn't want to get step aside money. Then you still have Deontay Wilder, who has Tyson Fury in court. That prevented him from fighting. Remember, he had a fight off schedule in December. He never took that fight because he's in litigation. So with that being said, I doubt, and Al Heyman being the smart businessman that he is, he understands that if that fight happens and Tyson Fury loses that title, chances are Wilder and Joshua never happens. So, and there's no need to happen because Joshua becomes undisputed. So they don't never really have to fight. So what I believe is going to happen is they're going to tie Tyson Fury up in litigation, making him, you know, own up to his obligation to give Deontay Wilder the third match. And then Anthony Joshua is going to be mandated to fight his mandatory, which is Usyk. And then Anthony Joshua will be waiting on the sideline to see who he's going to fight, whoever has the title. Because at the interview, at the end of his fight, he made the statement. He said, whoever has the title, I will fight. It's not about Tyson Fury. If it's Tyson Fury, let it be Tyson Fury. And everybody was like, oh, why he didn't answer the question directly and call Tyson Fury? Because he understands how boxing works. He knows how the politics work. So it has never been Anthony Joshua about the person. It's always been about the title, and the title can change hands, as he know, within one punch. So it's always been about that. So we're excited.
Correct.
Yeah.
Which he just experienced a year ago when Anthony with Anthony Ruiz had that, that power and put him out the game. So it's a lot that's going to play out with that. That's going to be interesting. Hopefully they will have that opportunity to meet in 2021. I don't know if it's going to be May, but hopefully they'll have that power, the ability to make something happen.
Well, you know how the politics go. It's just boxing. It's the way it works. We get all excited. As soon as a fight happens, we start announcing the fighter's next fight. You know how it goes. We're all fans. We're all excited. And as soon as they finish, before they get out the next ring, we're like, who you want next?
Exactly.
And we get mad when they don't give us the answer.
And sometimes before, we witnessed that when Errol Spence was talking about Terrence Crawford, and he hadn't even got in the ring yet with Danny Garcia. So it sometimes happens before, unfortunately, too. So now we're leaving the USA, and we're on with the UK, and we're on our way to the USA. It was it was some great fights this weekend in the USA. It went down, and we're going to start off. We're going to go over to Las Vegas, Nevada. We're going to start off in Vegas, where it started off, and it was I had an opportunity once again, and this your guy too, Marshall, your guy Edgar Berlanga. I had an opportunity to see him continue his streak. Edward Berlanga, he's like 16-0 now with 16 first-round knockout streak.
Right.
Can you believe that? A 16 first-round knockout streak?
Yeah, I can, and he is my guy. But here's the thing: I'm getting flack from saying that it's time for him to start stepping up his competition. It's
we
good.
shouldn't get any flack from that because it's definitely time for. I haven't been impressed with his opposition at all. It's funny that you said that, and because I totally agree with you.
Right. So the thing is at some point you'd like to see knockouts. Everybody wants to see knockouts, but we also want to see some kind of opposition. We want to see a competitive fight. So we all want a superstar. Boxing is always thirsty for a superstar, but it's important to have a competitive fight. So it's time for him to start stepping it up. And that 16-0 is really good. That's a good record because you got to look at Teofimo Lopez. Resume. I don't even think he got 16 fights. I think he has 13, but he fought a world champion. So you can put Edgar in the fight now with a world champion. It's not too soon, but everybody thinks it's too soon. You know what I mean? But I disagree. I think it's time now.
Well, I agree. I believe it is too soon for Edward Berlanga. He hasn't resume, and he's one dimensional. All he relies on is that right hand. I sat back and watched him. He threw that right hand maybe 60% of the punches thrown in that first round was that right hand. And he should, and I'm not knocking him, I ain't hating on him or nothing like that, Marshall, but he has to develop more of a skill set. He has to develop a jab. I still want to see his skill set. I still want to see him, maybe in about a year or two, maybe about a year.
But I disagree with that a little bit to say that he's one-dimensional because we don't know what he can do yet because we only seen him do what he does and have success with it, which is beat up guys who don't want to fight and use the right hand. And if it's working for you, if it's fixed, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So we don't know what.
But you've got to step up his level of opposition.
I agree. I agree.
Right. Because
absolutely.
we saw that with Deontay Wilder. If you can't, he's relied so much on that right hand, and when he came across somebody like Tyson Fury, who nullified that right hand, who took it away from him.
Yes.
Tyson Fury had his kryptonite, and he took that right hand away from him. And you come across a level of opposition, one of those champions that's not just going to stand there with their mitts on and stand in front of you and let you swing on them. Those champions that he faced, and he's in a heavy. I mean, he's definitely in a loaded division with top champions. He's definitely not ready for none of those guys.
Well, my only thing is the reason why I love Top Rank, and like I said, I don't know how much they're paying these guys, but I will, and that's not my business, but I will say they are moving their guys, and it's a sink or swim type of thing. So the only way we'll know is when we put him in there, if he's either going to swim or he's going to sink. So that's the true litmus test. Is if a guy's ready or not, you put him in there. If they fail, then they wasn't. If they succeed, then they was. That's how we find out. There's no other way to find that out. There's no other way. So I think he's ready. The only way to find that out is to put him in there. Simple as that. Step up that level of competition, and that's it. Because you think about it, the guy that he fought, he was supposed to go the distance with. That guy was supposed to give him some rounds. Even Andre Ward didn't anticipate him knocking him out in the first round.
Right. So yeah, we'll see. Definitely. In the future, next year in 2021, we'll have an opportunity. They're definitely Bob Arum definitely going to have to step up his level of opposition with Berlanga, and we'll see what he's able to do. But he's definitely not ready next year for a championship bout. And it's the same when we've seen with Rolly. I mean, he kind of reminds me of with a little bit more power, but someone like Romero, Rolly Romero, who position, and he was able to take Rolly's punch, and he was able to outbox Rolly. So I think if you put Edgar Berlanga, if you put Berlanga, in there with someone that really knows how to box, he'll get mopped up.
Yeah, and listen, the only way to know is to do it. There's no other way about it. So you can say you don't think he's ready, but I disagree. I think the only way to find out if he's ready is to put him in there, and that's it.
But I know who is ready. That's my boy who headlined that card, Shakur Stevenson, the young lion, man. I was definitely impressed with the domination of the young lion Shakur Stevenson over Toka Khan. Did you see Shakur?
Oh my God! And I always said it. Like, the guy is special. The kid is special. He does everything right. And I couldn't. I mean, if you think about breaking down that fight, what did you see? If you wanted to go back and say, "Hey, man, you got to improve on this," what would it be?
Nothing. He exemplified. Shakur Stevenson exemplified great patience. He showed power. I was definitely impressed with everything as a complete boxer, a complete fighter right now. Shakur definitely has it. He has it. And whoever his next opponent is, they better step up their game, because Shakur, he's attacking the body. He's utilizing the jab. He's utilizing his range. I love everything about that young lion, Shakur Stevenson, man.
Right, and like he said at his post-fight interview, he said it's hard to look good in front of a guy who's just surviving. And Toka Khan just came to survive, because once he realized that he was outskilled and outwit against Shakur Stevenson, he really gave up his soul in that fight. And Shakur Stevenson took everything that he gave him, meaning whatever was available to hit, he beat it. Whatever he didn't want to be hit, he made sure he exposed it and beat it. And when you break a guy down like that systematically, you literally take their soul in the ring. Shakur Stevenson, I don't even know if he got hit. Like, I don't even know if a punch landed, because of, and he very rarely gets hit. He has cat-like reflexes, and it's not like he was slow-walked. And I'm not saying that he had big names, but he had some guys that were actually reputable enough to actually touch him if they were competitive enough. But Shakur Stevenson is that type of kid who brings that excitement to boxing who has the ring IQ, intelligence, the wherewithal. He's just really a great fighter who everybody should be excited about.
And I know we had his manager impressed with his performance.
You're breaking up. I can't really hear you now.
I said we had Jay Prince on last weekend, who is Shakur's manager, and I know he was definitely impressed.
Right. Absolutely. How could you not be? How could you not be? This guy, he put on an amazing performance, bro, and he had the stage. I'm really, really curious to see what kind of numbers Shakur Stevenson did on viewership Saturday night.
That would be interesting. So hold that thought right there, Marshall. What we're gonna do? We're gonna go on a short commercial break. This is In the Ring with Al Jones. We'll be right back.
Check me out right here, yo.
This is Reality Radio. The reality is that for far too long, there have been efforts to refocus the now $1.3 trillion annual spending power of the black consumer market. Over the past several decades, there have been numerous Buy Black campaigns, but still, only about 3% of that $1.3 trillion circulates back to the black community. So let's try it again. Each week, we will identify 3 black-owned businesses on Tuesday and spend money with them for the week. And then on the next Tuesday, we will identify 3 more in our local communities. The businesses for this week are
Chef Mike's Food Experience, 216-820-7777. Legally Gifted Clothing Company. Visit legallygiftedclothingcompany.com. Hype Marketing at WeKnowHype.com. Call 216-527-4129.
The reality is that there is no better time nor more urgent need for black support of our own than now. This is Reality Radio with Kathy Hughes. What's your reality?
This is Reverend Al Sharpton. Join the National Action Network, not because of what we have done, because we have done much, but because of what we are still doing. We need action around voting rights. We need action around health care. We need action around dealing with the injustice in the criminal justice system. Be a member of the Action Network that's out now, fighting for you. Call 1-877-626-4651. Or go online to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and become a part of the action.
News Talk 1490 WERE, Cleveland Heights, WZAK HD3, Cleveland.
The champ is here! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to In the Ring with Al Jones. And as promised, ladies and gentlemen, get ready, get your popcorn out, because it's going down. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you, without further ado, 2 division world champions, undisputed middleweight champ of the world, lineal light heavyweight champ of the world, the executioner, known as the alien, known as bhop. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you Bernard Hopkins. What's going on, champ? How you doing today? Welcome to In the Ring.
Yo, what's up, man? First of all, that was a great introduction, and I'm glad to be on with you, man. I've been listening. Also, that Jay Prince thing was really beautiful. Got mad respect always for that brother, man, and good to be on.
No doubt. Thank you for joining and blessing us with your presence today, champ. And you're on also with my right-hand man, Marshall Brown. He's on with us also.
How you doing, champ? What's up, Marshall? Good. Likewise, man. Likewise. How y'all handling, man, over there, man? Like everybody else, keeping your hands up and chin down and ducking the virus, the COVID.
Yeah, you gotta stay above the fray.
No doubt, champ. Most definitely. So,
survive and win, and we're going to talk about that. One of my mental strategies, and the mental is so important in everything you do, especially in combat. you survive and then you win. They say, well, why are you going to survive in a belt wrong in the first round? How do you survive and the belt is wrong? You got 12 rounds to go. You know what I mean? 11 round after one. So, no,
Right.
that mindset. It's the mindset of still fighting, but realizing until you get to where you need to be in that fight, you must survive. Because punches are going to be thrown, politics is going to be played, and you have to survive that to be able to win. If that's not going to happen, then you have really a chance.
Correct. I totally agree with you, champ. Most definitely. And you've been surviving. You started at the bottom. Now you at the top, champ. I mean, you've had it throughout your career 20 title defenses. You know, which is remarkable. The oldest fighter to win a significant and credible title at what? I think I broke George Foreman's record, and I'm not trying to be like modest about it. I think it was like 50-something, like 51, 52, I believe. I won a title. It's in the records. But they said I broke George Foreman's record, becoming the oldest fighter to win a recognizable championship belt. And you know what that is. The last one of all the belts that really means something is the WBO. So you have the WBA, the WBC, the IBF, and boom, WBO. Correct, sir. You broke Foreman's record, champ, and then you came back and you broke your own record. You know, capturing titles.
And you know that's another thing where even in business, even in the second half of my life, we'll get to later on for a little bit, but I got that same focus, man, and that same drive, and way before all this chaos and reality kicked in for the last year, and a lot of things happening this year, not just the virus, COVID, but it was a couple of things that was important in this year that prepared me before this year even came to the fruition that it is. 21, what it is to be mentally strong. What to hang on, as Brother Nazim, God rest his soul, who passed away.
Right. Yes.
He says swim without getting wet. We're gonna get them on the other side. They kept wondering what the hell they talking about. Like, what is these codes? Like baseball, they use like hand signals and this and that, and they scratch their nose, hit their cheek or whatever. That means something. So we had these sayings, and these sayings was passed on to me. I would never forget them. I just use them and maybe not repeat them to certain people because they might know what it is also. So based on by being around that brother for many years, but man, it's just life is what it is, but it's what you make of it.
Yeah.
What makes it not typical.
Correct.
Hey, Champ, this is Marshall Brown, Boxing Street Science. I got a question for you. Now, I admire your career forever, follow you all through your career, man. But one of the questions I want to ask you, because you kind of alluded to it in your statement, is boxing now a business or is it a sport? Which is it for you now?
Well, it's always been like a business, and the way money is being paid, and I think this is one of the most direct way to answer it. The way the athletes and how they're getting paid in not just boxing. Look at the baseball contract.
Right.
I mean, talking $500 million baseball contract. That's just on the contract. We ain't talking about sponsors. We ain't talking about all the other stuff that comes with that. That's another $300 million. But let's get back to the focus of the point of business or sport. Let me tell you something. It has to become business because even if 99% of athletes around the world, I don't care what kind of sport you do, where you get a significant amount of recognition and also a huge, big contract or be able to make it over an average living. Let me tell you, we just start catching up because the promoters, the managers, and some of the business people that makes the machine go where you can look on TV and you can see fights because we're in that modern day time.
Right.
They've been getting this type of money in a different way a long time. So when you say if it's a business or a sport, I would want to say that this is 100% business, and it should be even more to the younger generations because they recognize and understand the money to be out there. The flip side of that can be that it becomes a spectacle. It becomes buffoonery in some cases. And so It's a fine line between who it is, that means who's the fighter, where he's at or she in their life to be able to say and demand what their worth is worth. But it's definitely a business. And let me tell you something. In my generation, I can tell you, even though I was privileged to know, being raised and coming through the ranks that I came to realize it was a business, even when I wasn't treating it like a business right out of the penitentiary. I didn't know nothing about the business of boxing. You crazy? So I had to get my own lesson, and I didn't like the taste of that lesson. And so I said, hey, well, why can't I just hire some advisors on the side by percentage, not by percentage, by salary, and I can just manage myself. When you look at my bio, to who I am, I'm so proud of the things I accomplished. But I'm more proud that only 2 fighters, and this is a trivial question to all the listeners that's listening. There's only 2 fighters that I know of in history, the role of managing themselves and calling the last shot, even when you got advisors and you got 1 or 2, which I have, advisors, somebody that can tell me by salary they got paid, not by percentage. I wanted to keep them half honest because the same thing you tell me for one fight, whether I should take it or not, which the upside and the bad side is the same as you're going to tell me the next fight. So other than bonuses, you shouldn't be able to say that you're first in negotiating for yourself because of the percentage and leave me out to hang knowing I ain't got a chance in hell to move to the next level. So that's the thinking ahead game. But the person and I'm going to mention him because he's in the Hall of Fame and they combine them 20 and 21 all together. You've seen the news, it's out there.
Yes, sir.
Right. If you're a young guy or even a guy at middle age and in the boxing or any other athlete in any sports, if you don't know nothing about the business or know nothing if boxing is a business or it's just sport, then you got to take a page and even look and understand out of Mayweather's book. You got to take a page out of Floyd's because love him and hate him, disagree or disagree. I would love to see him fight early on that I think should have happened or that fight should have happened, this fight should have happened. But guess what? It takes 2 to negotiate, and if I need to fight Gene and make triple the money, and I come back to fight Earl later, then, I mean, that becomes business. Isn't boxing business? Isn't life that we live is business?
I would think so. That's why I was posing the question to you because a lot of people get confused. I think that a lot of fans get conflated with the two because they want the fights that they want now, but they don't understand the business predicates and dictates what's going to happen. And a lot of fans.
You know what the fans want? The fans. They care about themselves.
Correct.
Right. They want to see with their dollars that they believe, and most of them have worked to buy these tickets that it's not cheap. This is a big major fight, but they're not sensitive, man. And listen, a lot of us not asking them to be sensitive. It's the respect level. See, the respect level got to be. We signed up for this, and this is the most profound thing I can say. And I don't even know what else going to be said after we've done this that I can say right now. That probably will be the profoundest thing I said until we get off. When we get off this interview, is this. This is a business until you realize that the hurt business, which is a quote that's been thrown around a lot of times, and that's we're in a hurt business because if you don't capitalize in a 10-year or less, if you're lucky. Right? Don't think you can do what Bernard did or anybody for 3 decades, almost 28 years. Look at the math of it. I mean, that's unusual. We already know that. And still be productive and respectful, that's very unusual.
And have your faculties.
So you got a 10-year, my point is this, you got a 10-year plus window to accomplish all your goals and become in the history books if possible. And then you got another task in the mix of multitasking. You must get all you can while you can before it's over. Now that's the coldest thing I can say to you. Like, you kidding me? And football players gotta think like that. Basketball players think like that. Any career, when you running up and down that court and you jumping and you fall on that ground and you hitting that cement or you hitting that phony turf called grass, and you're a fighter and you're in the ring, and every year you get older, so every year you lose something, even though you camouflage it, and something camouflages better than the others. Man, if you don't get what you can get, if you got a 10-year window in a career, that's considered a blessing. Anything else after that is a bonus.
Correct. But tell me this, champ. Now, back on the flip side, to the sports side of boxing, can you explain how you defied all odds, champ? You had a 30-year run in boxing. Can you explain it and give jewels on you on the longevity? What did you do to have that longevity in the sport of boxing?
Well, it's in my mental. Think about that. Think about this. You think of longevity. Look how you might as well call me the non-live cat.
Yeah.
You talking about longevity.
Exactly.
Do you know anything about my life history before I became a fighter? Or before I became world champion for Hopkins? I had to escape that. I had to escape the mean streets of Philadelphia. Y'all from Cleveland or wherever you round the corner from with Philadelphia, I call it around the corner. You know, it ain't really around the corner, but I can get to Cleveland in less than 3 hours. But let me tell you something. From Philadelphia, I'm telling you, right, straight run. But let me tell you this. Man, boxing wasn't 100% easy, but it wasn't nothing like life starting off for me. If you want to compare life going through the juvenile system, getting certified at 16, turned 17, 18, it was shipping me in the toughest prison in the PA system, and, you know, PA is pretty large. And so you got from Philly to Pittsburgh and everything in between. Now, once I picked up my boxing back up in there, I ain't start boxing there. I've been boxing up to 9. Come from a family of uncles on both sides of the family, so I got it honestly. So when you say, which is legitimate, about the boxing side and the survival and fought always to those years, discipline and always is ready, and you know, I mean, this is consistency. You see consistency. It's no 1 off or 2 off or 3 off. You've seen consistency in my career, even with the 20 defenses. Even breaking my own record. You know, get to a point when you get to breaking your own record, it's time to go. When you get to competing against your own, seriously. When you get to competing against your own self, you know it's time to go.
That's real.
My mom certainly told me, you better not box, God rest her soul. She said she seen the Trinidad fight and she left the earth after that. And let me tell you something. 2 years after that, she didn't see the Oscar fight, which was 2006, I believe. And let me tell you something. She said, son, don't box. Don't go at past 40. Because I remember, I started at 25 as a pro.
Right.
I started winning titles in my late 30s. I started winning other titles in my 40s. I mean, that's old school. That's Jersey Joe Walcott, man.
Right.
That we talking 50s and 60s where he'd be like, big deal. Such and such just won a title when he's 59.
Right.
So when they say throwback Philadelphia, when they say throwback Bernard Hopkins, I'm not speaking for every Philadelphia fighter. Because I know the streets beat most of them out. They KO'd them out, like most big cities. But let me tell you something. My longevity comes from my upbringing. And my upbringing was what? Seeing the things that can destroy your mind, destroy your body. And that is part of what takes a fighter of any sport, athlete of any sport, and a fighter with a 5-year or less career. And that's why guys come and go, because it ain't anything that got to do with substance. It's their eating habits. It's the discipline. And the most intoxicating thing that I can say, that even some of the disciplined men can fall off, the power of success. The power of success. Now you become drunk and intoxicated with all that you have done, and you become this person. Let me tell you something. I even kicked in third gear. Every time I thought about I'm bigger than who I really am and forgot where I came from, I always went back to that cell. In my mind, I ain't stuck. I've been home 30 years, man. So my whole thing always went back to my roots. I don't have to wait till something happen to me or happen in a case where I'm forced to go back. See, forced to go back and go back voluntarily, right? Not to stay and hang out and all that, but just to go and understanding and backtrack, to refresh your mind and recharge my mind, to go for the next 7 or 8 years, winning titles, breaking records. Now I'm in my 40s. They're like, yo, when you going to stop? It got to the point where reporters wasn't asking me whether I was going to win or not. And these guys are top fighters, some champions, and they're in their late 20s.
Right.
How long are you going to do this? I mean, does it really matter? You know, we love you. No, you don't. What you're doing is trying to figure out how I'm doing it. I'm doing it right. I'm doing it legal. I'm a workaholic. I go to bed early. I'm up early. I try to stay in the mindset of age is a number for some, but then you have to have reality. And the reality is it's going to end someday.
Right.
And I prepare myself, and I'm not boasting about this, but I'm proud to mention it because this needs to be said, especially amongst black athletes that's successful, even the ones that were successful and somehow made some bad decisions. This is some bad advice, right? So my thing is that how do you now take what you learned from your life, add it to your sport, get all you can get out your sport, so I wouldn't have to come back and do an exhibition on TV and make a buffoonery of my legacy. Are you crazy, man? These guys are coming back. These guys are coming back at 50. I retired at 50. Then that should show you how much. That should tell you how much gangster I am. And I don't mean gangster with a Tommy gun shooting down the street looking like some mafia. So I ain't talking about that type of gangster. Young folks know what I'm talking about with that.
But Ken,
so I'm not taking the shine off of nobody. But what's been doing now because of show, because of the pandemic, you got people trying to climb the walls in the city of Philadelphia like they Spider-Man. People are losing their mind. I don't say that to be funny. It might sound like I'm saying it, but I'm just telling you, I won't be surprised what's going to be shown on TV, even in 21. This thing ain't going to just go away in 21, man. All the hype and all the stuff about all the hype about all this stuff. Man, you know, such and such fighting, such and such fighting. I said, who fighting what? They think I'm playing around. I'm not following that stuff. What are you thinking about?
Doubt.
Everybody want to call me. What are you thinking about? What do you think about the fight? Did you see Roy Jones and Mike Tyson? I said, man, listen, I was embarrassed.
Wow.
I'm keeping it 100. Y'all, listen, one thing, when y'all interview me, you know you're going to get what you're going to get. You know that, right?
Yeah. No, that's the soundbite of the night.
I love it, Sam.
That's the soundbite of the night.
And then listen, and then some out there going to call me a hater and all that. What are you talking about? Right? What are you talking about? I'm not doing right. You got to be crazy. See, the buffoonery. See, it's one thing to do things, right? But when they laugh at you, they're not laughing with you. They're laughing at you. And I was always taught by Paisan. Everybody out there gonna call and tell you what a Paisan means. He said if you live small and travel big.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
If you
no doubt.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. If you disrespect money would disrespect you.
No doubt.
So a lot of times you got to do things not because you want to. I already know when you see something strange, normally it's strange. See, a lot of us come back for the wrong reasons. Nobody come back and say, well, you know, I want to come back. I got $300 million. I want to come back. They're paying me $50 million. You can say, well, you really don't need it, but I can understand they paying you that type of money. So my thing is that it ain't how much you got, it's how much you keep.
My man.
Always.
How much?
Hold that
listen.
thought, Champ. Champ, we got to go on a short traffic break. Hold that thought. If you got a second, couple seconds, we'll be right back.
I'm not going to cut
This is In the Ring with Al
money.
Jones with the champ, Bernard Hopkins.
1490 WERE traffic.
Good evening. This traffic update sponsored by Unbound.org. As we take our last look at the roads for your evening commute, if you're headed northbound I-77, you'll find an accident that's blocking the left lane at 490. And let's not forget, 490 is closed due to construction between 77 and East 55th Street until May of 2021. You'll also find if you're headed either east or westbound 76, the exit ramps at Wooster Road are closed for construction. A girl in Kenya dreams of becoming a doctor. An elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. Reach out and change their world, and it will change your own. Unbound.org. I'm Lorenzo Ware on Cleveland's News Talk 1490 WERE AM, the People Station.
What up, it's D-Ray Davis. You know how I get down. Square up, baby. Put them gloves on. And whenever I ain't telling jokes, man, I'm checking out In the Ring with my man Al Jones, man. Let's swing up things, man. Come on.
Welcome back, everyone, to In the Ring with Al Jones. And we here with the alien, the executioner, the champ of all champs, Bernard Hopkins. Okay, champ. So, champ, one quick question. And I want you to know this is my pound-for-pound list of greatest of all time. I got Ray Robinson. I got Sugar Ray Leonard. I got Joe Louis. I got Bernard Hopkins and Floyd Mayweather. That's my top 5 pound for pound of all time, champ. And
Okay, so can I give you mine?
Yes, that was my question. What is yours?
I got Ray Robinson. I got the great Muhammad Ali. I have marvelous Marvin Hagler, which I didn't hear from you.
Right.
I also, I have Mayweather being a modern day, but he's in that category. He fought people when he needed to fight them, and he went undefeated. He could have had a bad day, but he never had a bad day. At least he didn't get beat to show it.
Right.
Let me finish up. I have, Hagler. I also have Ray Leonard. I take Ray Leonard. And Bernard Hopkins.
Oh, great.
No
Great. I got one quick question for you.
I need 6. I don't need 10.
Yeah, I got one quick question. One more question for you.
But that's 5. I gave y'all 5. You gave me 6, right?
No, I gave you 5. You gave 5 too. You said
Hagler. Can I throw one more in there that y'all all forgetting? And he was no joke, man.
Who was that, champ?
Can I mention the name?
Sure.
Until he ran into Aaron Pryor, Alexis Arguello.
Arguello. Okay, yeah. Arguello.
Most definitely. And going.
Hey, champ, I got a quick question for you before we get out of here.
You throw Salvador Sanchez in there too, and ain't nobody gonna cry about it.
All right. Can you hear me?
But I was trying to keep it to the top 5 instead of now we into the top 10, and those most definitely.
I can go all the way to 20.
Hey, champ, can you hear me?
Hey, champ, before we get out of here, champ. Before we get out of here, I definitely wanted to say thank you for coming on and blessing us with your presence. And I got some shows coming up this spring in Atlantic City. I definitely would love to have you invite you.
You got to keep in touch, man. I'm in Atlantic City all the time, right after before the pandemic happened. So you have my number, right?
Most definitely, champ. Most definitely.
No, do you have the number?
Yes. Yes, I got it.
Okay, so we get it because I'm not going to say it on the air, but yeah, let's do that, Max. Right. I'm going to down there. I'm going to support y'all.
No, right. Most definitely, Sam. Well, thank you so much for blessing us with your presence today.
Well, I had one more question before we got out of there.
Well, you got to be careful because I'm going to give you 3 answers back.
I just need one.
Right,
one quick question. One quick question. Does Ryan get it done?
Yes. Knockout, 7th round.
All right. That's all I wanted to know.
And then he moved on to Tank Davis.
He ain't ready for that, but that's just my opinion.
Now, that's why we got to be in Atlantic City to do that podcast. We got to do that. We got to do that interview.
We can do that.
Cap.
I mean, listen, we can go on my podcast tomorrow.
You
can come on my podcast tomorrow.
Definitely.
I'm glad we're leaving like this because we're gonna keep some thirst in their mouth. They're gonna want to hear this. Ryan here. Ryan is gonna do damage, man. This come and fight, and then he's gonna get Tank Davis.
I don't know, man.
Okay, I like that, champ. I like that.
We're gonna pick that up in Atlantic City.
Let's do that.
Absolutely. Well, this has been In the Ring with Al Jones, with the champ, Bernard Hopkins. I mean, one of the living legends of all time. Thank you so much, champ.
Respect.
Thank you so much.
Much love.
Much love.
Man, that was dynamite, wasn't it?
Man. Listen, all he needs is a microphone. That's it.
Oh, yeah, that's my main man. I know bhop gonna bring it. That's bhop, man. One of the greatest of all time. Like I told you, he's in my top 5, man.
Man. He should be in a lot of people's top 5. He should be in a lot of people's top 5. If not top 5, top 10. You know what I mean?
Just for not what he's done in the ring, but also outside of the ring. Like he said,
his whole life.
His whole life and his big fight was outside of the ring also, and he prevailed. I mean, he definitely prevailed, man. Since, like he said, he's been boxing since he was 8 years old. But he's been a soldier of life as a teenager. Correct. With trouble coming up as a teenager in the penal system and everything, and then coming up, to the hard streets of Philly, and was still able to maintain and make it through the tough streets of Philly to now co-promoter, owner of Golden Boy Promotion.
And I wanted to ask that question because it's been that question has been burning in my soul forever. How the hell did him and Oscar? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I said I wanted to ask him that question, but he kept, he was talking. I wanted to know how the hell did him and Oscar ever sit down and come up with a plan to work together after he beat Oscar ass. I always wanted to know that.
That goes back to the business. That goes back to the business of the sport. Just like Jay Prince said, it's a lot of people that he didn't care about in the rap game, but they still got together and took care of business.
That's right.
This has been In the Ring with Al Jones, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a great show, and I'll catch you guys next week. We're bringing it again. Be safe, be blessed, and I'll see you next week. Thank you so much.
My man.
Please don't try me, because I'm fine. I have no problem laying these hands. Try Jesus, don't try me.
The proceeding was a paid program brought to you by Al Jones. The views and opinions expressed are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of this station or its management. 1490 WERE, Cleveland Heights, WZAK HD3 Cleveland, an Urban One radio station minority controlled and operated and serving the African American community for over 40 years. 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 Over 40 years.